So we welcome back our NFL analyst, our cousin, Eric Allen, former Eagle. You have several titles.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's good to have all of them.
Yeah. Well, we're happy to have you, and I'm sure you can answer this honestly. You did again, so I just want to ask you.
After always.
What you saw yesterday from Mark Sanchez, 10 of 20, struggling, you still believe that the Eagles can beat the Cowboys?
Guys, you know, sometimes you have those nerves in you when your team is playing or you're playing a game. And you're not sure about the situation, the outcome. You know it's going to be a very difficult.
How I know that?
Yesterday, my nerves kind of just dissipated. I just felt free. And I said, why? The Eagles are not playing very well. Why should I feel like this? You know what? Because I learned that there's a clear separation of the top teams in the league and the NFC and then everybody else.
Okay.
So I understand. The Seahawks are ready and they're rolling right now defensively. They're getting healthy, doing an outstanding job. Of course, you got the Green Bay Packers, and then the Eagles and the Cowboys, the Lions, and whoever else you want to throw in there. You know what? They're not good enough at this point. It really doesn't matter if you win the NFC East because the two best teams right now are the Packers and the Seattle Seahawks. Eagles, they will do well against a team that's, you know, below 15 as far as defense is concerned, and you know they'll mount a comeback, and defensive line is playing outstanding. Back end is porous. There's some opportunities there for the Dallas Cowboys in the back end. Again, I think these two football teams are pretty good football teams, and they're going to play well, and they're going to look kind of great whoever wins. And I think the Cowboys have a great chance because the extra days off prepare for keeping Sanchez in the pocket like the Seattle Seahawks did. They don't have a guy who's going to be able to cover one side of the football field, so that's going to be an issue for the Dallas Cowboys. But again, it just comes down to, you know what, whatever team wins and whatever team goes to the playoffs, and maybe both of them will go, they're not going to have a chance to face the Packers and the Seattle Seahawks.
So you're saying,
what
so this
what
game
does it
doesn't
matter
matter
right
is
now?
what you're saying?
You know what? What does it matter right now?
Wait, they could cancel and say they're co-champs like the Big 12.
Maybe.
That's it.
No,
Yeah.
I was so disappointed to see the Eagles and how good they looked against the Cowboys. And then just to see again against a very ferocious defense, how they just kind of disappeared.
But here's the caveat. Nick Foles do better? I'm hearing he's healthy.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so because it wasn't just about the quarterback position. And you saw Shady didn't have anywhere to run. You saw the receivers really didn't gain any separation. And Foles is an outstanding football player for this Philadelphia Eagles football team. He's a pocket passer, but I just don't see any success against the top-ranked defenses in this league right now. They only had the ball over 18 minutes. Didn't have a chance to establish anything. So, again, I think it's going to be an outstanding game. Believe me, I'm going to have my Eagle colors on and rooting them on, but for what? But for what?
For what?
But for what?
Stephen A.
The issue at hand to me is that, first of all, you have to crawl before you walk. I don't care what the Eagles are going to do against the Green Bay Packers. I already saw that.
Yeah.
I don't care what they're going to do against the Seattle Seahawks. I already saw that. I care about what I think they're going to do against the Cowboys. That's where my focus lies. That's where my focus lies. And so for me, what I saw yesterday has absolutely no negative impact whatsoever about the impending upcoming encounter against the Dallas Cowboys this weekend. You know why? You know why? Because the Dallas Cowboys defense does not resemble Seattle's in any way. I'm not remotely concerned about the Dallas Cowboys defense in comparison to Seattle. I know that Dallas's defense can make some noise. You understand? I know that and I understand that. But the flip side to it, whether it's Scandrick, whether it's Church, whoever you want to pick out of the pie, none of them measure up to Seattle's defense. They don't measure up to the Legion of Boom. They don't measure up to Avril and Bennett and those boys in the defensive line. They don't measure up, period. And so for me, if I'm Mark Sanchez and those boys, here's what I'm doing if I'm Mark Sanchez. Woo! Glad that's over. Glad I survived that. I know we lost, but at least I got out of the game healthy. I'm fine. I'll live to see another week. Now this week against the Cowboys.
Sure about that?
Now this week against the Cowboys.
Foles week.
Now this week. Well, listen, I believe, I will say this to you. It is a tough call because if I'm Chip Kelly and my quarterback just threw for 96 yards, I don't care who it's against. I'm a bit concerned. I'm a bit concerned that psychologically, I don't know if I could trust you right now. I don't know how much confidence the players have in you right now. Those are questions. So it's a really dicey situation for Chip Kelly, and I understand it. But at the same time, Nick Foles coming in there after being gone all of these weeks, I remember seeing what Mark Sanchez did on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
And what Mark Sanchez did on Thanksgiving Day was against this team.
Right.
And so to me, that deserves some strong consideration. Okay. So I would say to you that if I had to venture to guess, and it's just a guess, I'm thinking Chip Kelly's going to think along those lines, keep Mark Sanchez in, but have the mentality of a quick hook in the event that I see you replicating your performance from the previous week, which was yesterday against Seattle. If I see similarities to that, I might have to make a get the hook, make an adjustment, and get you out of there. But I think that Mark Sanchez, against this team, this Cowboys team coming up this Sunday, I think he's deserved the opportunity to go out there and start that game because of what I saw him do just a couple of weeks ago at Thanksgiving in Dallas. That's my thing.
So you are highly confident that the Eagles will win this game?
Supremely.
Supremely confident.
Supremely.
Wow. Oh, we went from highly to supremely.
Well, you know what?
That's like top of the charts,
if you remember last week, I said it sort of low voice and all of that stuff because occasionally from time to time, I can get a bit suave, smooth, and mellow, and I don't have to be a bit demonstrative and bombastic. I sat there and said to you, when I picked the Seattle Seahawks, I said to you, because they need to beat Dallas. And there's no way on earth, in my opinion, that the Eagles would have beaten Dallas this coming weekend if they had won against Seattle yesterday. See what I'm saying?
No, I don't see what you're saying.
Losing to Seattle yesterday heightens the level of urgency because now you're back tied and you could lose the division. There's so much that's on the line. Yeah. Whereas if you had beat Seattle, you still got a one-game lead on Dallas.
I'd be feeling a lot better right now if they beat Seattle. I'll tell you that much.
No, for me,
you're suave.
Well, you got to remember, you, regardless of your expertise, you weren't covering the Eagles, even though you used to play for them. You weren't covering them for the last 16 years. Yeah. I just see this in them.
I understand.
I see this in them, and I'm thinking they have a better chance of beating Dallas now that they got handled by Seattle. Yeah. If they had handled Seattle, I think they would have been a little bit overconfident. I think they would have taken some things for granted. I think a level of urgency would have been missing, and Dallas would have smacked them around in Philadelphia the way they did last year. I don't see that happening now.
I don't know.
I don't see that happening now.
If they had beaten the Seattle Seahawks, they'd have been a much better football team than they are Monday today. They wouldn't have been the same team that they are Monday today.
Has a loss ever helped you? Yes, it has. Yes, it has. Just say it.
Okay, that's enough.
Yes, when I was a far better football team.
Yeah.
Not when I was a team that went up and down.
Okay, I'm here to tell both of you, you should be supremely confident about next Sunday. You should both pull out your green and white pom-poms and shake them all week long.
So to help you?
No, you just should be, because I am not going to be prisoner of yesterday's moment. I'm not going to fall into the trap of what I witnessed at 4:30 yesterday Eastern Time. You're exactly right about this. My Dallas Cowboys do not belong in the same sentence with Seattle or the same paragraph or the same chapter or the same book or the same archive with these Seattle Seahawks. That was a joke of a game yesterday. It was a complete and utter mismatch, and you were exactly right. The Seahawks are way up here. Then Green Bay's right here to me, and Seattle can win at Green Bay if Seattle is forced to do so. So you're right. It's those two, and then it's TCU and Baylor over here playing for the Big 12 co-championship. But in this, I'm not going to forget the fact that I witnessed on Thanksgiving Day, or as I call it, Tanksgiving Day in Dallas, because they tanked. They flat out. Mark Sanchez looked like Roger Staubach at Texas Stadium in that game. Am I right about that? He was superb, both throwing and running the football. And my Dallas Cowboys can generate little to no pass rush. So they got Mark one time in that game. Yesterday, he was under fire from start to finish. He didn't know where he's looking around. He didn't know where he might have run backward one of the times. And in that game on Thanksgiving or Tanksgiving, do you realize that LaShawn McCoy ran for 159 yards and the Eagles ran for 256? And then they couldn't get out of their own way against Seattle yesterday? So I'm not buying any of what I saw yesterday as it pertains to how the Eagles are going to play against the Cowboys. I have three factors, small factors going for me. As you point out, I got 10 days to get ready for this game. I got 6-0 on the road, which by 2 games is the best road record in the entire NFL. Yeah. By 2 games.
Right.
And then Stephen A. brought up the fact, and I brought it up before, last year on October 20th, my Dallas Cowboys went in to Philadelphia, and I don't know how they did it, but they won 17-3 without DeMarco Murray. He didn't play. It was Joseph Randle going for like 65 yards rushing, and it was Nick Foles playing 3 quarters before he got knocked out of the game. And in those 3 quarters, he went 11 of 29 for 80 yards against my Cowboy, that abominable defense of last year. I don't get it. I can't explain it. Tony Romo threw a couple of picks, but he also threw 3 touchdown passes and threw for 300 yards. So do they feel good about going to Philadelphia just because they have good vibes from last year? Maybe, but I got to tell you, even though you were hard on Fletcher Cox, I thought he was flying around yesterday.
No, he was great. I was just talking about the one play
good.
when his ankles almost got broke. That's
I get it, but Connor Barwin is, he is, you want to talk about balling, man. He's hard to deal with right now.
They're getting it done
they are getting it done up front.
And I love my man Malcolm Jenkins and what he's been doing, but he got beat yesterday.
Well, he dropped an interception.
He dropped an interception,
It could have changed things. I don't think it would have won the game, but it would have changed the complexion of that game.
He's been fantastic.
But I got to tell you, their defense has come around. Early in the year, it was combustible, man.
Right,
but now, it's pretty good. I think it's better than Dallas's defense right now. I do.
Yeah, I agree too. I agree up front. They're doing a great job getting after quarterback. The couple things, and great points. The couple things that I take out of this is the Eagles offensively right now. If you're able to bottle up the running game, receiver-wise, it's a system, not an individual. They don't have a Deshaun Jackson who can flat out, put one-on-one, will 4-3 you to death. They have a system. And if you have those extra days to prepare, you can put your guys in place for the system. The bubble screen, Huff and his ability to be able to get,
Throw a question at you, though. Especially going up against Seattle guys. You know what they can do, particularly against the run. And we understand their speed. But Darren Sproles is no joke. Shady McCoy is evasive. I think Jordan Matthews' profile should be elevated above Riley Cooper, to be quite honest with you. Okay? So when you look at a Matthews with a Macklin, with a LaShawn McCoy, with a Darren Sproles, with a Riley Cooper, with the Brent Selleck or the Ertz, or whatever, Ertz dropped the pass to, even though it was a bit high.
That was high.
That was high, but he should have caught it. He should have caught it, but it was high.
You got to catch that.
For me, what if the Eagles just abandon the run altogether and go to just a pass and attack with all of them?
Well,
all of them.
Again, that would be a huge wrinkle, and it would take some adjustment for the Cowboys' part to trying to catch up with that. And that could be a possibility because now you're working with receivers in the inside.
Against anybody.
Yes, I believe so. I think that could be a good little twist to what they're trying to do because if you get ready for the system, you have some luck. And get ready for the system. I think eventually this football game will come down to offensive line of the Dallas Cowboys versus the defensive line of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Kerry, Skip, Eric, be mindful that they call Chip Kelly's offense predictable.
Yeah.
Bobby Wagner did.
If you're Chip Kelly, you need to hear that.
Yeah.
But you can't have anybody say
I know, but I laughed when it was Bobby Wagner because I'm thinking, well, it's predictable for you guys, but it's not predictable for anybody else.
Right.
But anybody that says that to you, you should pay attention to.
It looks like you got to leave us. Apparently, you have other obligations.
Yeah, today. I have some things I have to.
Do you want to just stay here?
That's what happens when you're big time. That's what happens when you're big time.
Got bigger shows to do.
You have bigger shows to do.
This is my highlight of my day.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Come here, Octagon, and hang out with us.
When I'm walking around the campus, everybody, I saw you on First Take.
That's right. Welcome to the big time.
They do say that.
No, welcome to the bigs, my friend. Eric Ellen.